What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Informed Trader. My name is Chris, and in today's video, we are going to be discussing Palantir, GameStop, why the bounce for GameStop after the fourth quarter earnings report, and why Palantir will do the same. So obviously, the markets were fairly red this week, a lot of bleeding. Crypto is obviously on fire, a lot of big stuff going on in that market right now, but that's not what we're here to discuss today. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the charts here. Obviously, Palantir has been steadily declining over the last week. As we can see here, it's still down 10% over the week, but it has had a bit of a comeback. Obviously, with the earnings report, we had a big dip on the 16th, and it continued to go down over the next couple days. But what I want to first discuss would be GameStop. Now, as we remember, if we go back on the 3-month chart, the 3-month chart here, and zoom in down here to their earnings report, obviously we had a big dip, and it was a major sell-off. We dropped around 20% altogether, just a little over 20% of the price, but it rebounded, and that was unexpected for a lot of people, and obviously kept going up, and it had its historic run, which was absolutely insane. But what I want to look at is, why did this stock take off? And I believe one of the major reasons would be Mr. Ryan Cohen. All right, so the billionaire founder of Chewy. For those of you who don't know, back in 2017, Mr. Ryan sold his pet startup to PetSmart for $3.4 billion. So he was doing pretty well for himself. A lot of safe investments into Apple, Wells Fargo, things like that. But he took a much different bet in August 2020. This would be last year. He opened a huge position in GME. This is during the time when people were still investing and had a lot of hope in this company. The stock had gone down to as much as $4 to $5, and it was going up in the past year. But that put him with a 12.9% ownership of the company, a $76 million investment. And I don't know when this article came out, but his stake is worth $2.9 billion when this article came out. Now, let me tell you something. When big money, whether it's individual investors or funds, hedge funds of that sort, put a lot of money into a stock to go for a big long, especially when people notice and people are familiar with these investors, it really stirs the morale in retail investors, all right? It really encourages people to know that, listen, I'm not worried, you shouldn't be worried. As a matter of fact, I'm doubling down. And as many of you know, Mr. Roaring Kitty, we had the Senate hearings on the trial versus Robinhood and Reddit and all that go on in the last couple days. And of course, there was an update on Reddit last night that Mr. Roaring Kitty, talk about him right here, he doubled down on his GameStop position. All right, so he not only owns 50,000 shares, he now owns 100,000 shares of GameStop. So much respect to him putting his money where his mouth is, saying that he would invest in the stock at these prices during the court hearings, and that's exactly what he did. You know what that does? That encourages the retail investors of GameStop. Now notice, after hours, once that all kind of came out, the stock went up 5%. All right, now that's nothing crazy, but it was down to as much as $38 yesterday, and now it is up to $42. All right, so that's a good sign when big money decides this stock is worth it. Now, why do I say that? Palantir. All right, so obviously it's been bleeding and bleeding and bleeding the last week or so, coming down from its high of $38, $39, all the way down to $25. All right, that's a huge drop. But what I want to focus on, ARK Invest. Now look at this. Cathie Wood's ARK Invest ETFs acquired over 6.8 million shares of Palantir in the last week as the stock dipped. All right, that is not a small acquisition. All right, so they purchased 1.5 million shares, and then they upped it to 5 million right around the time when Palantir was at $25. And if you were following the stock on Thursday, you would have noticed that 25 was a very strong wall, all right? They could not get the price to drop below 25. I think it did briefly. But what I want to say is, when big money decides that a stock is not dead and it is not going anywhere, and they doubled down on their purchasing, that's when a stock has potential to rebound. And I'm telling you, Palantir and GameStop are very similar in this aspect. Both had drops at their fourth quarter earnings, bad results, but you know what? The people believed in the future of the company. Kathy Wood was in an interview about Palantir and her recent purchases, and you know, the underperformance of their financials, and you know that they weren't doing so well. She's like, I'm not worried about that. I'm looking at the future of this company. This company is deciding that, you know, we're going to take the loss up front so that way we can outperform all the other competitors and we can make the best of what we're doing in this industry. All right, so Palantir has a bright future ahead of them. And many say that this is going to go to 100. Obviously, that's super bullish. But I foresee a good bounce back up into the 30s, if not crossing 40 in the next month. And I still think it's a good time to buy at $29. But let me go ahead and show you my position. On Thursday, just at market close, I went ahead and bought 30 shares of Palantir, as you see here on my Robinhood account. And boom, it was done. 30 shares there. And then I went and bought some call options the next morning at market open just to see if I could. They were speculative call options, way out of the money, just to see. I didn't know if the price action of the stock was going to go absolutely nuts, and I wanted to make sure I was in a good position. So I spent about $200 on call options, and I went ahead and day traded them for profit around $100, which allowed me to increase my position in Palantir by another 11 shares. So I'll go ahead, went ahead with a $1,000 investment, and as you can see, I'm already up to $1,000 total investment, and we're up to $228 in the green. So 20% gain on the day. It's been pretty good so far, and I think it's only going to go up from here. We may have a little bit of a drawback, but I have a lot of confidence in this stock, all right? So there is my 41 shares. I had an average cost of $26.35 because I ended up buying pretty high, but, you know, overall, awesome. So anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you. You know, just a lot of random things. I just want to encourage you that big money is making plays in this stock, and this stock has a lot of potential. Very similar to the GameStop bounce, and I foresee this bouncing here in the next week or so, breaking through 30 and getting up there into the 40s, and obviously where we want it to be 50, 60, and beyond. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Putting out new videos every day. That's my goal, every day. New stocks, new ticker symbols, and updating you on the market. My name is Chris. If you want to learn more about me, look in the description. I got a little background on who I am. There's a link you can use if you do not have a WeBull account and you like to earn 2 free stocks when you deposit $100. I'll also get a free stock, so we both win. Anyways, thanks for watching today. You're on The Informed Trader. Like I said, my name is Chris, and I'll catch you in the next video.